Hey guys, Ronan Reaper here, just back with another quick movie review. So just a little bit ago, I just got done watching Cherry on Apple TV Plus, the latest film from the Russo brothers, and their first directorial effort after, of course, Avengers Endgame, which formerly held the title of highest grossing film of all time. I say formerly because, well, obviously Avatar reclaimed its title fairly recently. But yeah, the Russos are back directing after producing a bunch of films under their production company Agbo. Most notably 21 Bridges, starring Chadwick Boseman, a pretty good cop film, and Extraction, the most watched Netflix film of all time apparently. I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't. It's a lot of fun. It's just pure action. But yeah, the Russos now have obviously returned to directing after producing those films, and Cherry is a much more serious, much more gritty film than the Russos' efforts with the MCU and the more action oriented fare they produced with Agbo. But the link this shares with their other films is, of course, features an MCU actor, this time being Tom Holland, who in Devil All the Time really showed his dramatic range as an actor. He was fantastic in that film, and he is fantastic here as well, giving a very nuanced and very sensitive portrayal of a guy who, he's in love, and then he goes from that to being PTSD ridden and addicted to drugs. And the film does not shy away from this. Like, there are some pretty harrowing scenes. A notable scene being one in the hospital fairly late on in the film that almost had me at the point of tears. Like, it is hard hitting, and that is just kind of the reality of drug addiction, is that it's not particularly nice, and the film kind of shows it as it is. And I really like seeing like how he struggled with PTSD as well. Like, see him taking pills and like washing them down with alcohol, and scenes of him like being unable to sleep at night, just without thinking about the violence and the death he saw in Iraq. Like it is bleak stuff. Like, I'd say this is even bleaker than Devil All the Time, because you know the subject matter of the film is very much real and is very much still a problem today. But there are some scenes of humor. Like, we get to see some of the banter between Holland and his mates in a few scenes, and some banter in the army. But thankfully, they know when to keep it serious. I said it's not a entirely perfect film though. The editing, particularly for the first while, is so obnoxious. Like, it's got the energy of a child that can't sit still. Like, and it just will randomly cut at points and then cut back, and so on and so forth. The editing does calm down, but you just kind of have to bear with it until it does. And obviously, the narrative itself is, it's kind of formulaic, but the Russos do make an effort to try and do something interesting with it. and showing different chapters of our main character's life, like showing him as a student, and then him in Iraq, and the and how he dealt with PTSD after. It's got chapters very much in the same way that Snyder's Justice League does, although thankfully this film is nowhere near as long, so you probably won't need to use the chapters to like take a pee break. But yeah, if you're someone who doesn't really can't really handle long films without needing a break every once in a while, yeah, there are chapters, so you can do that. But yeah, overall, Cherry is a pretty solid and pretty bleak and harrowing, and just a pretty interesting and bizarre film. Like I gotta give props to the Russos here for deciding to follow up one of the biggest films of all time with something smaller, grittier, more bleak and sensitive, but still trying to bring some kind of flair to it, even if that doesn't entirely pay off. And something of note is some of the bank, in fact, all of the banks shown in the film, whether we see like Tom Holland's character like just going to get money, or for the bank robbery scenes, all have like funny names that obviously you wouldn't see on real banks. Like one is literally called The Bank, like, which, yeah, that was an interesting little detail. I don't know what the point of it was, the narrative, but if you spot it, then it is kind of funny. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna give Cherry a 7 out of 10. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Cherry? What did you think of it? Are you looking forward to seeing the Russo's next output? Because I know they're keeping themselves busy. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.